Hi friends, my name is Nandita. I am from Andhra Pradesh.
Good morning dear students. Today we are going to discuss about control and coordination from chapter 7 class 10 CBSE syllabus. Now let us discuss about pituitary gland, which is also called as human body master gland. The pituitary gland, which is the master gland of the human body, also known as the hypophysis, is a small endoserine gland that weighs about 0.5 grams and is about the size of a pea. Since it regulates the activity of many other endoserine glands, the pituitary gland is known as the master of the human body. It's a protrusion at the base of the brain and that protrudes from the bottom of the hypothalamus. Hypophysis is found in the center of the middle cranial fossa on the hypophyseal fossa of the sphenoid bone and is enclosed by a narrow bone cavity filled with a bural fold. The anterior pituitary, also known as the adenohypophysis, is lobe of pituitary that controls thrust, development, reproduction, and lactation. The pituitary gland secretes hormone that regulates development, blood pressure, energy balance, all sex functions, all sex organ functions, thyroid gland function and metabolism, as well as some aspects of pregnancy, childbirth, breastfeeding, water salt concentration in kidneys, temperature regulating, and pain relief. Children, let us discuss the symptoms of pituitary gland problems. Vision problems such as blurred vision or loss of side vision, headache, dizziness, numbness or pain in the face, sleep problems, fatigue, weakness, nausea, etc. Children, let us discuss in detail about hormones produced by pituitary gland. First is growth hormone. Growth hormone, also known as human growth hormone HGH, this hormone helps build bones and muscles and influences height. Next, adrenocorticotropic hormone. This hormone triggers the adrenal glands to release cortisol, which helps to regulate blood pressure, metabolism, and blood sugar levels. Next one is follicle stimulating hormone. This hormone stimulates the ovaries to produce estrogens and can help mature ovarian follicles. In men, it stimulates sperm production. Luteinizing hormone. This hormone stimulates ovulation in people assigned female at the birth and testosterone production in people assigned male at the birth. Prolactin. This hormone stimulates breast milk production after giving birth. It also contributes to breast tissue development. Thyroid stimulating hormone. This hormone stimulates the thyroid to produce hormones that manage metabolism, energy levels, and nerve system. Children, now let us discuss about follicle stimulating hormone FSH. The pituitary gland secretes follicle stimulating hormone FSH. The follicle stimulating hormone FSH is a hormone that affects sexual development and reproduction in both men and women. It produces in the pituitary gland. FSH aids in the regulation of the menstruation cycle in women and promotes the development of eggs in the ovaries. Women's FSH levels fluctuated during the menstruation cycle, with the maximum levels occurring right before the ovaries release an egg. This is referred to as ovulation. FSH aids in the regulation of sperm's production in males. Let us see how FSH works. In females, FSH helps with ovulation and the menstruation cycle. It stimulates the growth hormone of follicles in the ovaries and prepares them for ovulation. FSH levels vary throughout the menstruation cycle and are highest just before ovulation. FSH in males stimulates the production of sperms. It also maintains the function of Sertoli cells in the testes. FSH test. Let us see how FSH test. FSH test can diagnose conditions that cause too much or too little FSH. For women, FSH test can help diagnose infertile, menstrual irregularities, and menopause. FSH test can also determine when a woman is most likely to get pregnancy. Now, children, let us see the levels of FSH. Normal FSH levels vary by age and sex. For example, before puberty, normal FSH levels are 0 to 5.0 ml, while during puberty they are 0.3 to 10.0 ml. High FSH levels in women can indicate a loss of ovarian function, menopause, or polycystic ovarian syndrome. Children, now let us discuss about luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing hormone is released by pituitary glands and it is important for sexual development and function. LH aids in the regulation of the menstruation cycle in women. It also causes an egg to be released from the ovary. It is referred to as ovulation. Luteinizing hormone LH is a hormone that regulates sexual development and fertility. It produced by the pituitary gland, already we discussed that, and released into the bloodstream. Let us see how does it works in women. LH triggers ovulation and the release of progesterone. LH levels peak around the middle of the menstruation cycle. In the men, LH causes the testosterone to produce testosterone, which is needed to produce sperm when LH levels change. In children, LH levels are high after birth, then drop until puberty. In women, LH levels vary throughout the menstruation cycle. After menopause, LH levels increase. In men, low LH levels can be a sign of late puberty, which high levels can be sign of earlier puberty. Let's see testing of LH. LH test measure the amount of LH in your blood. This test can also help diagnosis conditions that affects the ovaries, testes, pituitary gland and hypothalamus, and this test can also help to determine the causes of infertility. Let us discuss about oxytocin hormone. Oxytocin is secreted by pituitary gland. The function of oxytocin in female reproduction is well known. It is released in the significant quantities during labor and after nipple stimulation. This use of oxytocin as a medicinal agent during labor and childbirth is one of the oldest use of oxytocin as the medicine. The pituitary gland stores and releases oxytocin into the bloodstream. The hypothalamus produces oxytocin. The oxytocin is a hormone that plays a key role in the reproductive system and human behavior. It also known as love hormone because it promotes positive feelings. The hypothalamus is the part of the brain that produces this oxytocin and pituitary gland that stores and releases oxytocin into the bloodstream. The posterior pituitary gland stores oxytocin in the pars nervosa, also known as the neural or posterior lobe. The posterior pituitary gland that stores and releases oxytocin hormones. And let us discuss the functions of oxytocin. The main function of the oxytocin is reproduction. Oxytocin increases contractions during labor and birth and releases milk after the birth. And behavior of this hormone is influence social recognition, relationship formation and love emotional attachment. It also helps low stress and anxiety and build trust. That is the reason it called as love hormone. Let us discuss the conditions that affect the posterior pituitary gland. First one is hypersecretion. Too much of oxytocin is released, that is called hypersecretion, and hyposecretion is too little secretion of oxytocin. And tumors can also affect the posterior pituitary gland, but they are rare. Children, now let us discuss about another hormone which is released by pituitary gland. It is called prolactin. Prolactin is involved in hundreds of psychological activities, but two of the most are milk production and the growth of mammary glands in breast tissues. Prolactin encourages the development of mammary alveoli, which are the components of the mammary gland where the milk is produced. Prolactin is a hormone that helps the breast development and lactation. A blood test can be measured prolactin levels to help diagnosis conditions of a prolactin tumor. The The prolactin levels are in men less than 20 per milliliters, and non-pregnancy in women the prolactin levels are less than 20, and when pregnancy or breastfeeding it is about 80 to 40 ml. Let us discuss what can cause high prolactin levels. Some medications can affect dopamine production, which can increase prolactin levels. This includes childbirth control pills, antipsychotics, high blood pressure medications, and more. Health conditions. Some health conditions can cause high prolactin levels, including kidney diseases, hyperthyroidism, liver failure, and polycystic ovarian syndrome, etc. Let's see how is prolactin test performed. A doctor can provide information or any special preparation needed for the test. For the best accuracy, blood is drawn 3 to 4 hours waking up in the morning. In some cases, patients may need to be fast before the test. Thank you.